From that your teammate was unfortunately out of the playoffs. But given that Joey Logano is a replacement guy, what do you make of that, given how strong he is here in Las Vegas in the trucks?
Yeah, for sure. Joey's a great competitor and, a guy that really like any of the top 8 or 10, you get going on a good run, and it's really anybody's game. So I've always felt that way about the round of 8. If you get in there and really hit your stride, you can be rewarded in a big way. So I look at that being the case for everybody that's left.
And I know there's always a lot of attention around you in the sport in general, but this year with the Larson storylines and everything, you feel like you're kind of maybe not going on the radar, but you said like less pressure, and therefore you can get it out of your shoulders more.
I mean, for me, my focus has always been just on our team and what expectations and the things that we want to achieve inside of our office and inside of our room and our doors. And I have always put my emphasis and focus in that area more than I have anywhere else. And I think for that reason, it really doesn't make a big difference to me personally. So it's just about going and doing our jobs and executing a good race weekend. And the stories can change quick, and at the end of the day, it's up to us to, get the job done.
What do you think is you and your team's biggest challenge here in the round today?
I'm really a person that takes it a week at a time, and so I think it can be easy to look ahead at Homestead or to Martinsville, but I just think that's doing yourself and your team a pretty large disservice. So I have always just taken it a week at a time and put my emphasis and focus on what's next and what's coming up right now, and that's here in Vegas ultimately. And we'll get through this weekend and figure it out from there. But right now it's Vegas and practice and qualifying, and that's what's up next.
What was your initial reaction to the 48's DQ?
I'm just as surprised as anyone, and disappointed and bummed for Alex and also for Blake, and their whole team, because in my opinion, I think they've done a really nice job over the last couple months in particular, and really earned their way into having a shot at a championship in my view. And I think while we all know that a couple pounds or whatever it was is likely not a difference maker in what happened during the race, still a rule that is pretty black and white and just not something that you can really do a lot about when you roll across the scales and that happens. I've been on that side of the fence before, and it sucks. And at the end of the day, it wasn't anything of Alex. It wasn't his doing, but so just disappointed, bummed for him, and hope he can just keep his head up and continue to perform and do the things that they've been doing, because when we're all doing good things at the track, I think it's better for HMS, and so we hope we can all collectively continue to put the effort in and get the results that we've been getting.
With that happening, building off of that, does that make you a little bit more mindful now going forward? That, are you the kind of guy that considers yourself the winner before or after the post-race inspection is done?
I mean, I think it's really, when you are fortunate enough to win a race or whatever, for me, I have been thrown out before, so because that has happened, I'm always kind of in the back of my mind, like just hoping, that nothing is wrong or some crazy thing doesn't happen. So that's certainly a possibility, and I recognize that. So, but it is hard not to, celebrate those moments. You have to celebrate those moments. You can't wait till inspection's done to celebrate, right? So it's a delicate line, but one that us as competitors across the sport, you really have to. You have to push the boundaries as much as you can, because ultimately that's there is performance in these different areas, and you have to do that, and everyone's doing that. So it's just trying to find that balance.
Do you sit and ask Alan, hey, what are we doing with weight and that kind of stuff after something like this, or are you you do you and I drive?
Yeah, I mean, I don't get super in the weeds with it just because, for Alan and I, he's always let me do my thing and I let him do his. And, I have a lot of respect for that approach and for him. And, I'm not going to question that. At the end of the day, I think that's just ends up being a distraction and just not productive. So in a situation like this, while it is unfortunate, there's nothing that I can do about it, firsthand. And at the end of the day, you have to put your trust in your team and in your crew chief. And for me, that's always been my approach and will continue to be regardless of what happens post-race or pre-race or anything else.
Just having enough speed, and then you have to put that on top of that. You have to put execution with it. And if you can execute really well, but if you don't have the speed, it's going to be really hard to get through. So the focus is trying to get your car handling well, trying to get the most out of your car that weekend, and then from there, try to execute all the little details, which should come naturally, given the time of the year and the last round, the way we executed. So I think just putting the whole package together for sure.
Is there any extra pressure this weekend with this being your first chance to punch your ticket into that championship four?
No, not at all really. I think for us there's less pressure this year. I feel like last year we were the number one seed, and there was a lot of pressure to just get to the championship four because you feel like as a number one seed you feel somewhat entitled to get there. And I think this year for us being the fourth seed and kind of in the mix, it's going to be a very difficult round, and you just have to execute really well. Like I said, you have to bring speed, and there's really no magic. You just got to go out there and do the best you can.
It's rare that the defending championship four all returns the next year to the round of 8.
Is it?
It's only happened 2 other times before.
Okay, yeah.
So
I didn't know that.
The fact that you guys are back this year, what does it say about the strength and the caliber of your 4 teams specifically?
Well, I think I've noticed all year really that the 4 of us have been strong in our different ways, different stretches of the season. You could argue that at all times of the year, different points of the year, each of those cars has been the best car in that period of time. So, I think that's just a lot to be said about the teams, a lot to be said about the drivers, the crew, and just having a good notebook. And not a lot's changed, I guess, with the rules. So, just shows that those teams are really strong. And at the same time, though, the other 4 teams are really, really good too. So I think, you're going to see a lot of competition. And some of the guys that didn't make the championship 4 last year were really close and have probably improved a little bit this year too.
William, when did you find out about Alex getting DQ'd, and just what was your personal reaction like?
Probably found out around 7:30, 8 o'clock on Sunday, pretty much when you guys did. I was really disappointed for him, his team, and Blake and everybody on the 48. I feel like they've worked really hard and they've put together really good races, and they've been good teammates for us to learn from. They've been bringing a lot to the table from a debrief standpoint, and I was just more disappointed personally for Alex, and just what that would feel like. I would never want to feel that myself.
You mentioned the other 4 teams in this round are just as strong as any other. This feels like a really stacked round of 8. What's your perspective on the caliber of drivers that are left fighting for this championship this year?
Yeah, I think it's the talk seems like the momentum this week's been that it's the best 8 we've ever had. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I think some of the 8s that I wasn't a part of were really good too, but I think it is a really strong round. It's all the legitimate teams that you would expect, and it's really the top 8 cars all year. So that's when you sit down and look at the playoff picture, that's kind of what you expect. You expect the guys to make it through. I think the unexpected this year was the way the races laid out earlier in the rounds, that could have eliminated somebody, but what we saw is that there wasn't really anyone scoring a lot of points, so it was just chaos. Everyone was just having issues, and that didn't really allow anyone to pull away. So I think we're back to legitimate tracks, legitimate races here in the round of 8 that are gonna really set the table for, if you get through this round, you're definitely gonna earn it. There's gonna be there's stuff that happens in every race, but if you control what you can, you're gonna advance here.
Speed adding past you. What do you think it's going to take for you to finally jump over that hill and get the checker at the back?
Yeah, this place has been good for us. Through the years, I feel like I've always been able to kind of run 3rd through 6th here. never really quite had like the race-winning pace. So yeah, hopefully you're closer. You hope you put yourself in a spot to go try to compete for the win, and you hope to just keep the same speed at least that you've had here in the past. So yeah, it's hard to tell where we're going to be at. I'll have a really good idea here in about 30 minutes when I get on the racetrack of kind of where your speed is at, and if you think you're going to be good, or you got to start really figuring out some changes. So yeah, it's a nice place, and hopefully we can get over that hurdle. It'd be nice to win this one, but there's 7 other guys that would like to do the same thing.
Last year, you just went on a streak of just really great finishes around this time of the year, including your win at Martinsville and then a great run in Phoenix. What is it going to take to match that again this year?
Yeah, I mean, we found the right things at the right time, last year, and it was from a lot of hard work. Like in the summer where we were trying things that weren't really working, but at the end of the day, I feel like that kind of helped us because we knew what route not to take. So it's like you had your chance in the summer to try some things. All right, they didn't work, let's go a different direction, and then that direction was the correct one. So I think it's really the same thing. Like I feel better about where our pace is right now in general compared to last year. I feel like we're a little bit stronger as far as our race cars go. So it's about, does that pace continue? Like, is it meeting your expectations of where you think you are? Are you outworking people? And can you execute well through the race? Like as a driver, as a pit crew, like are you executing 100%? You can't really afford mistakes. So hopefully we can turn it on again. I feel great about our group. It's just a matter of how do you have other groups that are just as good, and that's the tough part. Like, how do you outsmart and outrace other people that are really, really strong in what they do? But that's the fun of sports, right? That's what competing is all about.
What was your reaction to the Joey Logano being brought back into the round of 8?
Well, me as a Penske driver, I enjoyed it. It's good for Team Penske to get another team in there. I know he was in on the Owners' Championship before that, but now for him to get back in the Drivers' Championship too, it's good for our team. And all of Team Penske, men and women who are not, 12 or 22 or 2, like loyal as far as like they're working on the cars through the weekends. There's a lot of people in there that work on all 3 of our cars, and they want to see Team Penske succeed. So that was a huge deal for all of those people, and the 22 bunch just gives us a better shot to try to bring a title back to the house there in Mooresville, and hopefully that one of us, if not both of us, can make a good run at it. Thank you.
Steven Stump of Frontstretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.